And away we go. Here we go. Hello, hello, hello. Yes. Okay, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Hi, welcome to the show on this Monday. Get a little weekend roundup going here. Well, not much, because most of everything I have open is about the same story. But that's okay. We'll get to it. Oh, I don't even have the chat popped up. Well, I'll do that during the intro. Anyway, too little time for me to spend a lot of time with this intro thing. So let's just get into the regular intro. Johnny, are you ready? Yeah, so am I. Shall we? All right, play the intro, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Do this thing. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where we we have selective sense of how we classify Americans in the United States of America. Yes, the white Hispanic is back. Something that we really haven't heard much of since what's that dude's name? And Zimmerman. Zimmerman? George Zimmerman, remember him? The original white Hispanic. Now look, someone made a good point when I made a joke about this on Twitter earlier today, that, you know, in the United States, we're one of the few countries that, you know, treat when we talk about race or ethnicity or whatever, we're one of the few countries that treat Hispanic a little bit differently than we do white people, right? And that is true. That is somewhat true, because in other countries they don't talk about race the way we do. For one, you know, they might describe people by where they're from, but if you're a Mexican, you're a Mexican, and there's, you know, Mexicans of all shades, and you know, there's red-haired, blue-eyed Mexicans, and there's African Mexicans, so to speak, but they don't talk of those terms. They just talk if you're Spanish-speaking, Hispanic, whatever. And the original white Hispanics were the Menendez brothers. Yes. Well, yeah. And some people call like Nick Fuentes. They keep bringing up Nick Fuentes today, of him being a white Hispanic, which, you know, I don't know. I mean, sure, Nick Fuentes, he's white, he's Hispanic, I guess. He has a Hispanic name. I guess all you need is a Hispanic name. Anyway, so this whole thing with this pew pew incident in Texas, this is the media's wet dream, at least as far as what the FBI is telling them, and what they're finding little symbols. They're not 100% sure though. It's funny, because I don't know what the makeup of the people that he did his little pew pew event with are, and if that was the reason. They're trying to find a reason. But what's amazing to me this morning, because I didn't even follow this story this weekend. I'm kind of turning off during the weekends a little bit. I make a couple of little short videos early in the morning, and then the rest of the weekend, it was me and Lady Boomer hanging out, you know, and she had to go to a bridal shower for our future daughter-in-law, which is very nice, I guess. I didn't go, which is weird, because I didn't go, and also I didn't realize my son was in town. I was a little bothered by that, but I'm not going to talk about that. But I didn't pay attention to the news this weekend. Yeah, you know, Saturday she did that. I was making short videos and then did some yard work, and then yesterday we hung out at Trail Stop Stand. We didn't do a Trail Stop stream, but ran into Maddie and Ronan, who don't live too far from us. Really great to see them, and Mom. I always call her Mom. and it was good to see them, and we just, we chilled this weekend. And but I heard about the event, and when I first heard about it, oh, here we go again. Oh, they're featuring the type of weapon. They're doing this, they're doing that. And then this morning when I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. The Wall Street Journal, or one of my friends sent me to me last night. The Wall Street Journal said, oh, this guy had some white supremacy ties. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the media's going to love this. We're going to hear about this for weeks, and we're going to get a manifesto. We're going to get everything, and blah, 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 blah. And then it clicked in my head. I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all know just about everything about this guy already, right? And maybe it's because he has a prior arrest or whatever, or, prior issues with the law. But we know everything about this guy the very next day. And they're already calling him, white supremacist and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And someone sent me the picture. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I've never heard of a white supremacist named Mauricio Garcia. Looking like a brother in the one picture I saw. Now they had another picture we had straight here, but it looked like a brother in the one picture, when he got picked up when he was 35 in 2022. And then all of a sudden he's 33 in 2023, which is weird. That's a whole other aspect of this that's troubling. And then I find out his parents need a translator because they don't speak English. And I'm like, wait a minute. So they got this white supremacist named Mauricio Garcia, who's clearly a little bit more brown. Although the second picture, he looks a little more white. They must have used more lighting. Because in this light, I look white. I turn heavy light, bright lights on, but I'm brown. Even though, the white. Anyway, so the point is, we have another white Hispanic. Hotep to you too. Jay Pilot. We have another white Hispanic incident, and the media is just loving it. This is the exact kind of thing they want to report. They want to report on white supremacy, and they haven't been getting it. They haven't nearly as much as they wanted. And so finally, a year after the Buffalo shooting, they get another one. That's at least, maybe the Buffalo shooting at least had the guy was made the motive, but this one has some the white supremacist writings. And I'm just like, y'all kidding me? Are y'all kidding me? You're doing it again, because this is their white whale. This is their golden unicorn. All right. Yeah, I'm high yellow. I know I'm high yellow. Well, I'm mixed. I'm half Irish. So the Irish genes are strong, man. My granddaughter has like red hair, and that, you kind of get some, I don't know how that happened. But the Nigerian gene, my grandmother was really tall. That's why I'm tall. Because apparently your height kind of comes from your paternal grandmother. So that's that. But anyway, so we're going to talk about this today. We're going to read some articles and just show how excited the media is about it. It's the feature part of every story, headline, whatever. And we'll get into that. But before we do that, I'm going to say good morning to everybody. And then I'll hit some other articles. Gunfox has the other article that I really wanted to touch on too. And so we're good. And thank you, by the way, Gunfox61. First donor day, but he did it before I did the reset. But still, I'm going to call you this. Gunfox61, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir. Dropping a, oh boy, here we go again. Here I go again on my own. Not that way, but anyway, he has another article that is already part of some of the theme today. So let's get into the hellos and get this thing going. First, the chat over on Rumble. Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. Thank you for being here, sir. Also, good morning to Mike Savage, Blarg, and Next Gen Troll on Rumble. I know there's a few more of you over there, but when you chat, I'll say hi. On YouTube, first the chat is also Avocados Diablo. For some reason, you got two bells there, but anyway. Also, good morning to my favorite Canadian Jaeger pony. Tyler F. is in the house. Robert Banks, what up, my friend? Mr. Simon Wolfwood, Somnambul Nation, Reaccion Puerto Rico, you lovely island. Also, good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Dr. Funkensteins goes, a.k.a. Tyler Alexander. Good morning, fake news experts. Hello to my friend Sarah. What's up? Good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Lord Stanhope, Tex AG 007. Rotten Corpse is in the house. Also, let's see, who else? Anyone else? I'm scrolling. Is anybody else down here? I saw Kay. Kay, welcome back. Nice to see you. The original. Oh yeah, that's right. 'Cause you told me the original white Hispanics were the Menendez brothers. Yes, they definitely were. Good morning, also Somnambul Nation. Kiever Dam's in the house. Nice to have you here. Nice to get you in. Just stopping by. Well, that's fantastic. Good morning, Jay Pylon from Hotep Nation. And Richo, my friend from down under, and C. Thomas Kapow. And also C. Thomas dropping a deuce in the tip jar. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Who says, pea, as in pea, the green peas that you eat. They're kind of mushy if you cook them too long. And Ness, like the Loch Ness monster. Yes, pea Ness. Thank you, C. Thomas. Appreciate it. Good morning, Kessler. Good morning, Plague Dr. Zach Osborne. Good morning, H.P. Lovecraft, Anna Lynn. And I think that's the end of the line. Is that everybody? I kind of got everybody. If I miss you, just pop your nose in the chat one more time, and I will surely do my best to acknowledge everybody. Just a reminder, I am also, if you would be so kind, I should probably put this in the that little Streamlabs Autobot thing, but I'm on Locals. Whenever you go in the links at the end of the show or whatever, if you ever come back to the links, I'd appreciate your support on Locals. You can you can follow me there. I do notifications. I didn't do my notifications this morning. I feel bad, and it wasn't because I wasn't late. It was more like I was just not managing my time well this morning. So I apologize for that. But I can thank the people who have put out notifications of the show, who tweeted out the show already. Somnambul Nation, Jimmy Das Hotep. I know Jimmy's here somewhere. Thank you guys for doing that. I'll retweet them. If you want to retweet those guys, that would be fantastic. Oh, did I do it right? There we go. I retweet that. And I'll retweet Somnambul Nation, they both put up, between the two of them, put up YouTube and Rumble. If you're following me on Twitter, retweet those today, and we'll keep the show going. Let's see. Good morning. Also, did someone else show up? I just thought I saw another person. Oh, Trippy Liberty's in the house. What's up, my friend? So, let's start with. I was going to start with some Twitter trends. What is this? Don't know. Oh, let's see. What do you got here? Oh, boy, oh boy. So apparently, I'm gonna put this tweet up right now because thank you, Reaction on Puerto Rico. Apparently, in La Frontera en RVG, G, Ga, I don't know how you say G in Spanish. Texas, back in Texas, we have a problem. It's a big problem, and I think it's very important that we show you this. There is a huge we have a problem in Texas that's happening right now. Is this live? No, it's not, but it's a current thing out there. We have a huge line of white supremacists trying to get in the country. It's just as far as the eye can see, white supremacists trying to enter our country. Why are we letting all these white supremacists in the country? I don't get it. Good morning, Unacceptable Views. How you doing? Also, good morning, Those Ain't Real Dude. See, look at this. All these white supremacists trying to enter the United States of America. I don't understand it. Maybe, it's funny. I think maybe if we could let Joe Biden know that all these people are white supremacists, he might try better to close the border. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I mean, this white supremacist with a Laker jersey on. What are they giving them? They're giving them bags of something. I don't even know what this is. Anyway, so I just thought we'd got to make you aware of that. That person brought a garbage can. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so yes, we have a plague of white supremacists coming into the country. Let's get into the news. I forgot to do something this morning when I was setting up. So it's going to be a little bit discombobulated, which is not necessarily unusual for this show. I mean, I'm not the greatest. I'm I don't have a producer and I don't have people who write shit for me. So I kind of do some things kind of off the cuff. So I wanted to talk about a few things that are trending before we get into the main topic today. And one of them just happens to be what Gunfox sent me. And so we're going to do that. So the Fourth Amendment is trending on Twitter. And I was like, well, that's weird. Why would the Fourth Amendment be trending on Twitter? Well, and here's the article Gunfox sent me. Thank you again for sponsoring the show. Oh, C. Thomas too. Thank you for sponsoring the show. So apparently Janet Yellen, what is she? The Treasury Secretary, or what is she? Yeah, Treasury Secretary, calls for invoking the 14th, calls if we invoked the 14th Amendment. She says that would be a constitutional crisis. Now they're future Democrat voter. Now, Gunfox, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, I got to come back. All right. Let me tell you something. Remember Fire Marshal Bill? Let me tell you something. Anyway, I don't necessarily believe that these people are future Democrat voters that are coming into our country legally, that many want to make 100% legal, right? I think that Republicans who are smart, there's some Republicans down in Texas, for example, Hispanic Republicans, who actually tell people what the Democrats are doing. And it's, especially on some of the cultural stuff. Remember, these people are mostly Catholic. And despite the fact that they're trying to get in our country legally, they do work hard and they have family people. And all you got to do is tell them what these people letting you in here are like. And a lot of them go, what? They do? They what? They want to do what to my kids? They want to do what? They believe in this and that and all that. So temporarily, they might do some kind of a... Excuse me, I had to take a sip of my reparation coffee. I don't necessarily think these are going to be all Democratic voters. I mean, look at the Cubans in Miami, and South Florida. They're like, they got here and they're escaping something, and then they're like, wait a minute. These Democrats want to make it just like where we came from. And they're like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell to no. And, they elected Ron DeSantis by a lot. So I don't know. I don't think you're necessarily going to get fully Democratic voters out of these people. But anyway, so let's go back to Janet Yellen and this article. Yellen calls invoking the 14th Amendment a, quote, constitutional crisis, end quote. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Sunday called the possibility of invoking the 14th Amendment a constitutional crisis after President Biden left open such an option amid stalled debt ceiling talks. Now, this is Joe is trying to play an end around on the legislative branch again. During an appearance on ABC this week, anchor George Stephanopoulos Snuffleupagus repeatedly asked Yellen about whether Biden invoking the 14th Amendment, in which he could continue issuing debt without raising the limit on borrowing, was on the table. She largely sidestepped the question and laid responsibility on Congress. Because look, Joe and the Democrats do not want to reduce spending. Let me rephrase that, because I don't know if there's ever been a time in this country where we've ever actually reduced spending. A lot of times they will call reducing the rate of increase on spending as a cut, but in reality, they've never actually. Well, I suppose it's been proposed at points in time to lower budgets at certain things, but when in reality, they just lower the rate of increase. For example, they say, "Oh my gosh, they've taken all this funding away from schools," because they like to play on the poor little children aspect of everything. When in reality, there's never been a reduction in the education budget. It has always gone up, but what they've cut was the rate of increase in certain places. Like, for example, when I was a kid in Nebraska, they tried to propose this thing called the lid bill, right? And everyone was saying this is catastrophic. They are going to try to, because they were going to freeze spending for like 2 years on schools and make them become more efficient by not giving them more money, which was always the case. They've always gave them more money. And they said, no, we want to have this lid bill where we're going to cool it for a couple of years. We're not going to increase. It wasn't even, and in fact, it wasn't even a lid on spending. It wasn't that they were going to stop spending completely. The lid bill was going to force them for 2 years to tie any increase in spending only on inflation. So you can buy all the same shit, but you have to keep it within the same. If the price of one thing goes up, you can buy it because you can buy the same amount of shit because the cost went up, but you couldn't buy more. Okay. So this whole thing about, now the raising the debt ceiling is a whole different thing because, we have this, they keep changing it. And, but none of the Democrats want to ever slow down their spending. They always want to spend more money on things now because they think money grows on trees, which it kind of does. I mean, it's, lately the printers go, the printers are like, starting to get, all the gears are starting to wear down. They have to replace the gears. They've been printing so much money. But wait, what? The 80-20 Coolidge did due to depression and the Great War. Yes. In the last century, I guess there was a time when spending did actually decrease for a short period of time. I'm just talking about modern era, like even more modern than Coolidge. Okay. Let's say during my lifetime, okay, since the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. So anyway, let's see. When asked to respond on Biden saying he was not ready to invoke the 14th Amendment, Yellen said, "Our priority is to make sure that Congress does its job." Yeah, well, yeah, great. There is no way to protect our financial system in our economy other than Congress doing its job and raising the debt ceiling and enabling us to pay our bills. And we should not get to the point where we need to consider whether the president's going to can go on issuing debt. This would be a constitutional crisis, she said. Hey, look, here's the point. Swab me, how are you doing? DOJ or scumbags? Uh-oh. We'll have to see what that is. Is that that's a video. Hello, Swanamo, by the way. Nice to see you. So, what's funny about that is if they didn't raise the debt ceiling, that doesn't mean we would stop paying the essential bills, right? You know what I mean? They would still do it. Anyway, so Stephanopoulos said, continue to press Yellen on the issue, asking if invoking the option of invoking the amendment was on the table if an agreement between Biden and Congress isn't reached. Yellen responded, there was nothing the president could do to avoid an economic catastrophe using the mechanism, even though invoking the 14th Amendment would be a choice for Biden. I'm still not exactly clear on whether it's on the table or off the table, Stephanopoulos asked again. Is it a break glass in case of emergency option? Look, I don't want to consider emergency options. What's important is that the members of Congress recognize what their responsibility is and avert what surely would be, regardless of how it's handled, the situation used to handle an economic blah, 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 blah. Well, what to do if Congress fails to meet that responsibility? There are simply no good options. And ones that you've listed are among the not good options, Yellen replied, obviously talking about the 14th Amendment. Hello, Rachel Madhouse Dildo. Biden said in an interview aired Friday that he's not ready to invoke the 14th Amendment, leaving the option on the table ahead of a meeting he has this week with congressional leaders on the matter. I've not gotten there yet. He told MSNBC host Stephanie Ruley. So the 14th Amendment is trending on Twitter because of this. And a lot of people, ABC News, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen tells this week that invoking the 14th Amendment to get around the debt ceiling would to continue borrowing money to pay the nation's bill would risk a constitutional crisis. Now, of course, the propagandist. Rich from California is one of these propagandists. Let's see what he has to say about this. If the Republicans are going to hold the economy and the nation hostage in order to let corporations keep their tax breaks over the needs of the American people, then President Biden should invoke the 14th Amendment. Do you agree? This allows the president to raise the debt ceiling if Congress fails to act, and it's time to put Americans, not corporations, first. Let's go, Brandon, and fix this. Yeah. I'm sorry, the let's go, Brandon doesn't necessarily work for you assholes. I'm just saying. And then other people are just people, a lot of people are, oh, here's Occupy Democrats. After the last Civil War, we passed the 14th Amendment, where Section 3 provides that insurrectionist officials shall be banned from future office. To prevent another civil war, we must enforce Section 3, banning any official who participated in the January 6th insurrection. Fuck you. There was no... First of all, can you name those officials you believe participated in the January 6th insurrection? I'm just curious. Hello, Shrapnel. What's up? Nice to see you. Robert Reich. Oh, and there's Robert Reich, the little garden gnome fuckwad, supposed economist and former Clinton official. Trump is running for re-election despite the explicit language of the 14th Amendment, which prohibits anyone who has held public office and who has engaged in insurrection against the United States from ever serving in office. He should be disqualified. It's that simple. Okay, what insurrection? Again, what insurrection? Okay, the bullshit seditionist charges, whatever, from those Proud Boy guys don't count. Sorry. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway. But mostly the reason it's trending though is because only an installed puppet president would use the 14th Amendment in issuing debt, even though Congress hasn't approved it. Yeah, there's a little separation of powers issue on that. So anyway, let's move on. What is this? This is a video. DOJ are scumbags. You know what? Here's what I'll do. I'm going to open this link and see what it is. Again, thank you, Swanamo. Portland, Oregon judges are scumbags, oaths, and traitor. Ninth Circus Court of Appeals in Waco City, San Francisco are also scumbag. Oh, okay, there must be something very specific this is talking about. I will watch this video later, and then maybe we'll drop this in tomorrow because I don't know what it is. But thank you, Swanamo. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I'm leaving the tab open just so I can watch it. In fact, I'm gonna leave it, put it in the links today. Everyone who watches this show should know by now that when you watch this show, I have links to everything that we do: tweets, videos, articles, whatever. At the end of the show, I drop a link in the chat it's a one-tab link. It'll be in the description at the end of the show also, of both Rumble and YouTube. And it'll just be a single link to get you to everything we do. You can click the link, one page, everything we did will be on that one page. So there you go. Good morning, Nomad is in the house.
Hammer time.
Nice to have you here. All right, let's get into the main topic, and then if I have time, we'll add a couple more. But I want to get into this this Hispanic white supremacist that happened over the weekend. So, this event over the weekend in El Paso. I mean, I understand that I say that the media is, what's the word I used? Euphoric over it. Not in the sense that people were ended. Okay, don't get me wrong. I know they're not celebrating the ending of human life in any form. But from a news standpoint, this is one of those ones they've been waiting for, and the idea that they can report that this guy might have been a white supremacist, even though normally in American lexicon, there's, Mexican people who are Mexicans or are brown can't be white supremacists. But, there's some evidence that he might have some weird thing about, either we see or we not see things. Catch that. So the event happened. It was in Texas. At least 7 were ended and many wounded at an outlet mall. Okay. What we know so far about the event in Texas is, according to This Is CNN, the gunman opened fire at the outlet mall in the Dallas suburb of Allen, Texas, Saturday, the latest shooting to shatter the American community. Now, there's something weird. Someone asked a good question about this. Thank you, GunFox61, dropping another Hamilton in the tip jar. Greatly appreciated. And of course, you are still the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you for dropping another link. Democrats say what? He dropped another article, so you will do that one at the end after we get done with this thing, and we'll go on. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Now, let me just stop real quick because they're gonna. Well, no, I won't stop. I'll go ahead and go through this just little what we know so far list they have. Hello, Chicago Mike, by the way. Good morning, sir. Gunmen opened fire to Alamo. We already said that. More than a dozen victims, at least 8 people were ended and 7 more were wounded in the massacre, local officials said. Victims range from age 5 to 61 years old, according to a Dallas area medical group. Father who rushed to be with his son at the mall described the horror that awaited him there. So they have links to all these things that they're talking about. I'm not going to go through them. Police killed the gunman. An officer was already at the mall for an unrelated call when the gunfire broke out. The Allen police chief said Saturday the officer followed the sound of the gunshots, tracked down the shooter, and ended him, according to the chief. Now, it's the shooter's background that is amazing. So this was, when was this updated? This was updated yesterday. Yesterday. This event happened Saturday, I think late in the afternoon. And by Sunday, they knew everything about this gunman, unlike some certain other events that happen where they might report on it, they might have a small little article on it, but they don't go into great detail. They're already going into detail about this article in several outlets because of certain factors that we know they like to report on, okay? Which we'll get to. The shooter's background, the gunman, who dressed in tactical gear, has been identified as 33-year-old Mauricio Garcia. Now, it's interesting, too, because there's pictures of the same guy in another arrest last year that said he was 35 then, but now he's 33. Not sure why, but senior law enforcement source told CNN Garcia has been living with some kind of temporary housing in the Dallas area. The source said he used to work as a security guard and had received firearms training in that role, according to an official database. The gunman's now this is the other part of it that there are aspects of this that they love to report on because anytime this particular type of firearm is used, it's front page, and not because it's you know why. This is the one they're trying to get rid of. So they love it that it's this. The shooter was armed with an AR-15 style rifle and had at least one other weapon. Now, why would they have at least other weapon? We know it was a pistol. The police have already told us that. But no, he had one other weapon. Nope, that AR-15 is most important. It's most important to name. When he was gunned down by police, senior law enforcement source told CNN, police also found multiple weapons in his car. Potential extremist ties. Now, this is the part where, whoa, how do you know this already? This was like, they were all over this. Now, I don't know if it's the difference between Texas and Tennessee, if it's the difference between Dallas or Allen and Nashville or other jurisdictions, how fast information comes out. Maybe it's just that Texas supplies information much faster. We don't know. But some of these things are actually supplied by the FBI. So maybe the FBI knows about this guy already and not other events. So I don't necessarily believe, well, I do believe. I think the speed in which information is disseminated will often have something to do with the demographics that are there. Okay. So for example, the birthday party in Atlanta, man, I didn't even know for a week what the race of the party was. Now, maybe some people assumed it, but usually when people of high melanin are ended, you usually know the race of the the perpetrators too right away. But I mean, they arrested 5 of them before I even knew they arrested 1. The 6th one was arrested. And I'm like, wait a minute, when did they arrest the other 5? Because it's not a big story to everybody. All right. So anyway, potential extremist ties. I'll get to that. Let me do these super chats. Oh, I already did the one with Gun Fox. Thank you, Chicago Mike, putting a big bullet in the tip jar, who says, I just want to return from vacation, and was away from YouTube for a week. What did I miss? Don't do that to me. That's what replays are for. Oh my gosh, just look at the news and you'll know. That's funny. Thank you for supporting the show, sir. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're pulling who used to do that to me all the time? What was the dude's name? He hasn't been around for a while. There's a dude that every day would ask me something like, I'd put a headline in the story and I'd be in the middle of another story, and he would ask me, well, what do you mean by this and this in the headline? And I'm like, well, anyway, so potential extremist ties. Authorities are investigating whether the shooter was motivated by right-wing extremism. A senior law enforcement source said authorities have not yet zeroed in on a specific motive, but the source said the shooter was found with an insignia on his clothing that read RWDS, an acronym known to watch groups potentially standing for right-wing death squad. He also had an extensive social media presence that included neo-Nazi and white supremacist related posts, according to the official. Notice they haven't said anything about they said the shooter's background, and his name's Mauricio Garcia, but he might have neo-Nazi and white supremacist related posts, according to official. And then what we're still waiting for. More word directly from Texas officials. Authorities did not hold an official news conference Sunday and have released little information about their investigation. The FBI told CNN Sunday the Texas Department of Public Safety is the lead agency in the mass Pew Pew event. Now, this is interesting too. Okay, so they did not hold an official news conference Sunday and have released little information about their investigation. But somehow, this is CNN. And many outlets have a lot of information already. How can that be? How can that be? It's wild. It's wild that they can have all this information already. We don't, remember, they're not releasing the manifesto from the the Nashville Pew Pew event person. Remember the manifesto? The trans whatever. No, we don't get that. But they know a lot of stuff about this one for it already. So let's go to the Washington Compost here. Here it is. Investigators examine Texas gunman's white supremacist views after 8 killed. The gunman who opened fire in an outlet mall in Dallas suburb on Saturday, killing at least 8 people, had an apparent fascination with white supremacist or neo-Nazi beliefs that are now being examined by investigators as a possible motive for the attack. People familiar with the investigation said on Sunday. Mauricio Garcia, the typical name of a white supremacist, but again, Nick Fuentes, don't now. Mauricio Garcia. Here's the other. Oh, by the way, Mauricio Garcia's parents do not speak English. Look, I'm not knocking the fact they don't speak English, but they needed translators because they don't speak English. So the white supremacist, because remember, in the United States, when you say white people, you don't mean anyone of Hispanic heritage. You know, I mean, Hispanic ethnicity, and, you know, white, I guess, is a race, sort of, I guess, if you, you know, the Caucasians. Anyway, but, you know, normally you don't think of brown white supremacists. So anyway, Duncan McLeod, there can only be one. Oh boy. Anyway, so Garcia, blah, 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 had multiple weapons, yada, yada, yada. Authorities have not released the motive, but a patch on the shooter's chest said RDWDS, an initialism that stands for Right-Wing Death Squad. According to people familiar with the investigation, the phrase is popular among right-wing extremists. Wait till we get to this, because there's a tie-in here that's just perfect. Neo-Nazis and white supremacists, they said. And while there's still a great deal of evidence to analyze and authorities have not reached any conclusions yet, investigators are approaching the shooting as a possible hate crime. Now, I'm wondering, they haven't really, have they said much about the victims yet? I don't know. I mean, if it's a hate crime, I'm curious who he got down. Was he exclusive to one certain melanin content or something? Because they haven't really said yet. Witnesses said the gunman's tactical vests also packed with ammunition magazines, indicating just how much carnage he hoped to inflict at one of the most common places for Americans to gather on weekends, a shopping mall. Panic video from the scene shows adults running as fast as they could to get away from the crack rifle fire, their shopping bags flapping around them as they sprinted across the parking lot. One young boy in a red t-shirt ran away while screaming, "Run!" A look of terror on his face. The mall shooting marks the second time in the last 10 days Texas had a mass killing which gunman trained a powerful rifle on people. Yes, the powerful AR-15, the most powerful weapon in America. In fact, it can take down a building. It can melt bones. It can take away your skin. It vaporizes your organs. It's so powerful. Anyway, the staccato bursts of gun violence in America are increasing, according to some groups. Yes, in Biden's America, we seem to be having a lot more of these shootings, aren't we? It's amazing. In Biden's America, these shootings are becoming more and more publicized than ever. Are there more? That's a question someone asked me this morning. Are they in the chat? Okay, here's a good question. And I'll make a little poll today. We'll start a poll. Do you think there are more mass shootings or just more reporting of them? And the choices are more of them or more reporting of them. There's your question of the day. And it'll be in there to pop up in the chat. There we go on YouTube. Real quick, thank you, Jimmy Hotep. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show. Dropping a big bullet in the tip jar, saying maybe the fascination was killing whites. Maybe the fascination was killing white supremacists per the danger of it presents to the country. I mean, most of the media expresses if you see a white person, they are probably a white supremacist. Maybe the media is getting their wish. You know? Now I understand what it's saying. And Jimmy Das Hotep, right back to back, another big bullet. And Jimmy Das Hotep, that makes you. Oh, no, wait. Oh, no. Gunfuck's at 20. Well, okay. Dropping a big bullet in the tip jar. It's going to put you up there anyway. So I'll just say it. You are the new Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day. With less institutions for the mentally ill, today there are plenty of sick individuals susceptible to lies and radicalization. There's also just plain evil in this world. Yes, there is. You know, that's one. And, a lot of this, too, can you imagine? We've been talking about how there's maybe a mental health crisis more than there's a gun crisis, because the guns have always been here, right? The guns have always been here. We've always had lots of guns in America. That has not changed. But suddenly, between what I think some people see as copycat crimes, people just, they're going to go out in a blaze of glory. And I'm not going to sing the Bon Jovi song. because they see all these other ones and they're so, every time there is one, there's the media ready to pop off that's a bad choice of terms, on these AR stories. They love the AR stories because there's, you know what? Even though they say, oh, wow, all these mass shootings, you think all these mass shootings they talk about, the 197 or whatever, they come up with a different weird number depending on who counts them. Some people, they count them different ways. If these were all ARs, yeah, but still, you're more likely to get killed by somebody beating you to death with their hands and feet than by a rifle. An AR is a rifle. All these mass shootings, most of them are with handguns. Okay, so they're we need these gun laws. We need to have universal background check. Blah 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 blah. Well, it's not. We don't have more guns per capita. We don't. We've always had the guns, but boy, they sure like to make them. They sure like to. It's the story du jour right now, and also I think. Seriously, we didn't have them. Now, granted, people were afraid of everybody during COVID, but we didn't have this many during the Trump administration, did we? I don't know. Or they were reporting. What is the point of them reporting them now, too? Because there's always, I don't know that the number of endings by other humans has risen significantly. Well, these last couple of years they have, but it's amazing that these people are doing all the. Oh, and again, okay, I have another question. I know I'm kind of going stream of conscious here, but so this white Hispanic, white supremacist in Texas, could he be a plant too? Could he be just one of those? They knew this guy wanted to go out and blaze glory, so they found him some gear that had the whatever and said, here, go ahead. You can either go rot in jail for the rest of your life, or we'll give you one last blaze of glory. I don't know. That's a conspiracy theory that didn't need to be said out loud, but I said it anyway. If you caught what I said, great. If you didn't, don't rewind this. Hello, Brett Hayes. How you doing? Handguns are the number one weapon of murder in the U.S. Are they? I'm not sure. Third is blunt force instruments. Second are knives. Third, okay, you looked it up. Handguns are the number one weapon of murder in the United States. Blunt force instruments are second are knives. Third, blunt force instruments. Fourth is manual, aka hands, feet, whatever. And fifth is rifles. Okay, this is of homicides. All right, not deaths, because heart disease is still the number one cause of death. Dawg Knight, they want your guns. Yes, they do. I only have one though. I have one rifle, but it's not necessarily conducive for any kind of mass anything, because I can only load it one bullet at a time. It's a 1873 Springfield trapdoor. FBI grooming. Hello, Hig, by the way. FBI grooming. Yeah, I don't know, man. And it's a lot of they know a lot about these people too. Sorry for the bad wiring. I am running. Oh, you're on the treadmill running? So you're trying to I'm laughing because you said sorry for the bad wiring, even though I know you meant writing. So there you go. Thanks, Jimmy Does Hotep. Pistols are easier to hide to get rid of. Yeah, I know. That's just it. I mean, pistols are even in the mass shootings. Pistols are the weapon of choice in most of what they declare a mass shooting. Okay, pistols are the way that's it. Not rifles. Not even the AR-15. Okay. No, you don't suck, Jimmy Does Hotep. You are a gentleman and a scholar, and I'm inspired by your constant working out, because I need to start. As soon as I get my hip fixed, I'll probably do that again. All right. So anyway, the shooter was also injured at least 7 people before a police officer who happened to be at the mall on an unrelated call fatally shot him at about 3:30 p.m. Yeah, and by morning, they knew everything about this guy. That's what amazes me. That's what amazes me. They knew so much about this guy from jump, compared to, we're still waiting for them to release that manifesto. Hello, Epskipos. How you doing? So, then they talk about the victims. Okay. But anyway, so this is the big headline, though, that they want you to see all day. White supremacist views. Okay. And so all over Twitter. Oh, and so here's some things on Twitter that I found about this. RDWDS. Hint, if you see someone wearing an RWDS patch, they're probably not the type of company you want to keep around, either Fed, mass shooter, retard, or match of the three. So this is Tyler Coincide. This is Jeremy Bertino, one of the Proud Boys. Oh, there's a Proud Boys link because they had the same thing on their patch. Now, by the way, the RDWD, there are some people who have that patch, I guess. I don't know why but that right-wing death squad idea, that originated in Central America. And this guy is Hispanic. So I don't know if there's Central American white supremacists or whatever, but the right-wing death squad is not about what wasn't necessarily originally an American thing. Well, it's a different American thing, but not the upper two countries in the Americas, okay? But anyway, this is Jerry Patino, probably pled guilty to seditious experiment. Just pled guilty to seditious conspiracy on January 6th. See the patch he's wearing that says RWDS. The Allen shooter was wearing the same patch. Uh-oh! So, now, here's a good thread by Elijah Schaefer. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Elijah Schaefer. He can be funny sometimes, but he can be a jerk sometimes and whatever. But he's fairly decent at reporting things. So now the MSM, the mainstream media, built their Allen, Texas white supremacy narrative from the Urban Dictionary. So they looked this up because the RDWDS became MS-13 in El Salvador. I think that's correct. I'm not 100% sure. But if you go to Urban Dictionary, this is how the right wing, or the media, not the right wing media, but the media, came up with their information. And this is a pretty good thread about that. Proof: the MSM built their Allen, Texas white supremacy narrative from Urban Dictionary. This idea, the shooter, Mauricio Garcia, was a white supremacist, came from a patch on his jacket that said RWDS, which Washington Post says means right-wing death squad, taken from an obscure Urban Dictionary definition, which is this: RWDS, right-wing death squad, used as a hashtag on Twitter by racist, fascist Donald Trump supporters. Where's that one? Where's the one I wanted? Oh, that's wrong. To call for the creation of said squad, also used to call for deportation, burning, killing of non-white or non-American people. Well, this dude was, in an American sense, he was non-white, even though he had to check the white box when he applied for a driver's license. For a lesson on how history repeats itself, read up on the pogroms of the 19th and 20th century, particularly the Kristallnacht and the Nazi German death squads. Oh my God. So anyway, Washington Post is so lazy and so eager to push the white supremacist narrative from Urban Dictionary, they crafted their story from points from Urban Dictionary to try to frame the Hispanic shooter as a Nazi. But I caught them. They read that RWDS is related to the honkening. So they made him a honker. So weird. So here's what they did, and that's the story I just read, but I didn't get all the way through it. A next door neighbor who could only give her first name, Julie, had a different description of the subject. We called him Honky because he always honked at us and waved. Oh my gosh, he honked his horn. She said one of the 4 children. Okay, so anyway, that's one thing he posted. Then he came here. Now, up here, right-wing death squad can be seen as one of the extreme variants that led to the birth of the honkening in recent times. Now, that is, first of all, whoever wrote this post on Urban Dictionary is an idiot. Okay, the honkening came from when they had Pepe in they had that clown Pepe, and they'd use the honk as we're making you're a clown, honk honk, right? And the honk in English just kind of came from that. But they're saying it came from the right-wing death squad. These are beliefs that the world they're living in went crazy to the point of needing to hard restart civilization, embodied by the right-wing death squad, an elite force of convinced militia personnel equipped with gear meant to strike fear into their targets while making the war an unstoppable armed force with an adamant resolve to get rid of. They meant get rid of. They wrote get rid off, but I know they meant get rid of, what they think caused society to the brink of collapse. One example could be the recent New Zealand shooting, if we spare the details, with this mechanical way of acting and lack of empathy, treating targets with extreme prejudice and still think he has done the right thing. And then they use some language down here. So anyway, Elijah goes on to say, then after using Urban Dictionary to label the shooter a Nazi due to its anti-Trump MAGA ties and adding the silly honking point, they interview a random witness who uses the language of someone who's worked for military intelligence, calling the shooter a civilian. Hello, fellow civilians. So here it is in the same Washington Post article. Palakivko said he couldn't believe how much ammunition the shooter had carried. This guy was loaded. He said no civilian person should be able to have access to that kind of ammunition. It's insane. Oh, that sounds like a mom's whatever talking point, doesn't it? But police can confirm, and NBC, Mauricio Garcia, but police further confirmed that Mauricio Garcia was a white supremacist because of his social media accounts that had tons of racist content, except none of the content had ever been interacted with by other users. That's nearly impossible for two reasons and should cause alarms. Well, before I even find out what his reasons are, if it's never been interacted with by other users, that is just weird, isn't it? Wouldn't there be detractors that would, try to shout him down in Twitter or whatever, or in social media? Not just, or somebody agree with someone, turn him down, or were people just completely fearful of interacting with this guy? So here it is, a preliminary review. What is believed to be the shooter's social media accounts reveal hundreds of posts that include racially or ethnically motivated violent extremist rhetoric, including neo-Nazi material and material espousing white supremacy, two senior law enforcement officials said. The officials stressed that the investigation is ongoing. The preliminary review found that the gunman's social media posts were not liked or shared by other users. Okay, now I didn't say they weren't replied to, but that's interesting. So clearly, Fed post. Yes, Mike, Fed post. Exactly. They made this, I want to see, boy, they better have some links. If a user is habitually uploading tons of racist and targeted content, it would have been flagged by social media censors and deleted. Also, algorithms boost content, so the fact nobody interacted with it suggests it was all only recently uploaded. Within minutes of being discovered. Yeah, wouldn't that all be flagged? Very private racist. Yes. If someone in 2023 calls you a Nazi, smile and walk away. It confuses them. Yeah. So, but I'm not the only one who is suspicious. Even the dishonest New York Times is trying to be careful as they spread the narrative, crafting phrases like may have espoused white supremacist ideology. But wait, I thought he posted hundreds of racially targeted posts. Which is it? So this is from the New York Times article. The gunman may have espoused white supremacist ideology. That's a weasel word, according to two law enforcement officials. Interesting. Yet the MSM further wrote their stories based on the description of RWDS on, Urban Dictionary, ensuring to describe the shooter's outfit as tactical. Remember that word? They had tactical gear? And that was what we read in the Washington Post story. Here it is. Garcia was armed with tactical gear and an AR-15 style rifle at the time of the shooting. Two sources confirmed to CBS, this is CBS, that he had a patch on his clothing with the letters RWDS, which stands for Right Wing Death Squad. Okay, and then they say the same shit that everybody else said about it. And again, using the Urban Dictionary is where they probably got this from. I get it. The demand for racism exceeds the supply. This narrative was so poorly crafted, I almost feel bad for the activists pretending to be journalists. I don't know everything about how the disinformation pipeline works, but I hope this reminds you never to trust the MSN. And so some people say, so the patch was placed on his jacket before or after the shooting. I'm not going to speculate. I hope you enjoyed me doing a little OG, slightly offensive debunking of the MSM. So it's interesting. Now, that's just one theory on this. A couple other things that were popped up about this. Robert Downen saying, well, he started this, showing Mauricio Garcia, who killed 8 people outside of Allen Premium Outlets, was reportedly wearing a right-wing death squad patch. The phrase popular among neo-Nazis and other extremist groups. Now, Robert Downen, who is this? He's with the Texas Tribune, very liberal, out of Austin, outlet. Also, seeing a lot of blowback to Washington Post and Wall Street Journal saying Mauricio Garcia may have white supremacist ties given his race. So, periodic reminder that there's a long history of people of color advancing and supporting Nazi white supremacist goals and ideology. Ah! That's hilarious, you fucking clown. Leading white neo-Nazi website is now publishing in Spanish. Oh, fantastic. Black and brown. So she points to these articles of these, Hispanic brothers who are white supremacists, right? This U.S. trend fueled over the course of Donald Trump's presidency and the pandemic extends beyond movement leaders to a broader network of participants, some who have faced hate crime charges. Last month, Jose Gomez, III of Midland, Texas, pled guilty in a federal court to 3 counts of committing a hate crime. A hate crime? What the fuck's a hate crime? For attacking an Asian American family, including 2 in 2018. 2018, well, that's BT. Isn't this funny? So wait a minute. The U.S. trend fueled over the course of Donald Trump's presidency. Okay, he wasn't president in 2018. It was 2017 he came in. I was thinking, okay, never mind. In 2017, a Puerto Rican resident of Georgia was sentenced by a Virginia district court to 6 years in prison for his role in the beating of a black man in Charlottesville, Virginia, following the Unite the Right rally. Christopher Ray Monza, a Cuban-American man, a member of the neo-Confederate group League of the South, was arrested in 2017. So they're finding all these white Hispanics, they up to no good. Leading neo-Nazi website is now publishing in Spanish. Oh, so they're interesting. Black, brown, and extremists across the far-right spectrum, people of color play a more visible role. Oh, boy. Yeah, black and brown white supremacists. Maybe they should change the name of it because, you know what I'm saying? And then he said, right-wing death squad is also big among the Proud Boys, who are led by an Afro-Cuban guy named Enrique Tarrio. Well, you don't, again, the myth and the legend of the Proud Boys is really far beyond what its actual purpose was. So anyway, but then this person says, you know who else right-wing death squads is popular among? Latin Americans, like the shooter. You know, the people who invented and used RDWS, right-wing death squads. An average journalist knows nothing. Everything that happens can only be processed through their post-2016 ideology. That's spot on. So, and this is, did the shooter hold white supremacist or neo-Nazi beliefs? Sorry, it's not, didn't fit right. Let's see, let's go full page on that one. Please do not comment on any possible motive. That's from the Washington Post. Anyway, let's just skip that. And then someone here, where is right-wing death squad from then? where does the idea come from, and where can I find more information on this? This guy said there were a ton of death squads in Latin America. I'll make this bigger, you see it. He continues, there were a ton of death squads in Latin America in the 60s onward. Both sides uses them, but they were largely right-wing responses to communist uprisings. Latin American right-wingers in America adopt it for that reason. Can find it easily by looking up this stuff. So there you go. But there's a couple memes. This is one of my favorites so far because, this one makes the rounds anyway. Same white progressives that screech on social media that minorities can't be racist are now screeching there's an imaginary Latino white supremacist white ring death squad, remember, terrorizing Texas. I can't believe people are dumb enough to believe this shit. So yes, POC can't be racist or Latino white supremacists. What do I do? Also, let's see, what was this one? This is... Now, this is interesting because this guy, there it is. Equity, video of the invasion of the white supremacists. I wish I had a march here. Here. It's the invasion of the white supremacists coming to a border town near you. All right, and then... shock, the white supremacist that ran down 20 illegal immigrants and killed 7 in Brownsville is recovering in the hospitals. That's another white supremacist that, anyway, and he was part of Tango Blast from the Valley. So here's what Tango Blast is, that guy, because this guy, they didn't report this because his weapon wasn't a AR-15, it was a car. But Tango Blast, anyone that can join Tango Blast, is a collection of various regionally based groups, homeboys or homies of mostly Hispanic gang members who have banded together for protection from established, the older violent prison gangs, now mostly known as security threat groups. The TB has no hierarchy, which is appealing to its members. Neither does it have a set of initiation procedures for joining. One initiation used is a beat-in where a prospect might fight several other members. If he lasts and does not surrender, he is inducted into the gang. So anyway, this white supremacist is from Tango Blast, which is a gang. Now, a couple of the funnier tweets I've seen about this. Hello, Special Can Acid, and Blue Eyed Scream. A couple of the funnier tweets I've seen about it. One from Olivia Rondo, our friend from kind of Hotep Nation kind of person. She's a writer for Breitbart and other stuff. Mass Mexican shooters being called white supremacists prove that they are taking American jobs. That's hilarious. Also, in response to that, someone named Justine said, yes, they're telling us of the new group called the Que. That's fucking hilarious. And then let's see, this is my last one. Let's see. And then ABC News thought this was a great day to mention too that since we're talking about white supremacists, 10 people, all African American, were killed in a racially motivated mass shooting at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York, a year ago this week. Not this day, but this week, because, usually they just do it on that day, but they'll be talking about this all week. An attack that shook the nation underscored a rise in white supremacy across the country. Now, so let's take note. And by the way, I'm going to be keeping track of the term white Hispanic over the next couple of weeks because when the last time I heard this prominently was when Trayvon Martin was killed by George Zimmerman. Okay, because a lot of people said white men, and then we realized, oh wait, George Zimmerman, who has one would think would be a Jewish last name, but it's whatever, not because anything bad, turned out to be Hispanic, right? So then they started using the term white Hispanic quite a bit. So I'm on a white Hispanic watch for the rest of the week and maybe the rest of the month, just because I'm going to be looking for it, and hopefully, I don't know. I might do that. What's the Pee Wee Herman thing? Was it the magic word of the day or whatever? And then they say the word, and everybody go I might have to find that meme. Hello, Robert Banks. What's up? just searched for a RWDS morale patch and found one with a helicopter, and the description speaks for itself. Commies are scared of helicopters. Not exactly what they're describing. Okay. Yeah, that's another one. Who knows? Anyway. President Biden chirped in on this. Why do I only have this? This was home. Okay. Oh, I know why. Because I had ABC News send me. Then up here, Joe Biden has chimed in. Notice he chimes in very selectively. By the way, have you noticed that? He invited, for example, those representatives from Tennessee who got kicked out of the Tennessee legislature for protesting, and the protesting was about the guns in the shooting in Nashville, and the shooter in Nashville, that was the transgender shooter. They don't like talking about that, but he never said anything about the families, the people lost in that one. But he had the legislators who got, who led an insurrection in their legislature, their definition, not mine. And he brought them to the White House, but not any of the families of the victims. And that was a pointed question at one of the press conferences for Latrine Jean-Pierre by Peter Doocy. And why hasn't has he invited any of the victims' families at all? He's inviting these three guys because it makes better political fodder. So anyway, 8 Americans, including children, were killed in Allen, Texas yesterday in the latest act of gun violence to devastate our nation. Jill and I are praying for the families who are critically injured. We're grateful to the first responders who acted quickly and courageously. And then I think he goes on to talk about some we need legislation to stop all these guns. Well, he's only interested in stopping the AR-15s, which are, not even like Robert said earlier, it's the 5th cause of homicide behind handguns, knives, hands and feet, and what was the other one? What was 4? 4 was fourth was blunt force instruments. Yeah. So are we going to ban shovels? Or we're going to ban blunt force instruments? Well, they come in quite a variety, so I don't know. All right, moving on. What was the last thing I had about this? Oh, I had the ABC News. That's why I had this that way. Well, here, we'll put President Biden's tweet up here too. And let's see what the, please, come on. There we go. Let's click President Biden's tweet. His follow-up tweet to that was, let's see. Yesterday, an assailant in tactical armed with an AR-15 style rifle gunned down innocent people and shot them all, and not for the first time. Wait, no, that was the first time he did it. Such an attack is too shocking to be familiar. To be so familiar, we need more action faster to save lives. Once again, Congress must send a bill banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, enacting universal background checks, blah, 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 blah. Again, I think we don't have a gun violence problem. We have an asshole violence problem, a fucked up people violence problem, a mentally fucked up people violence problem. We have a societal problem where people thinks it's okay to go in around and shoot people, or even better yet, more common, go beat people in the street and kick them in their heads multiple times when they're down. We've got a society that believes that there's a certain segment of society that believes that any kind of violence is their answer. We have a violence problem in America. It's not a gun problem because, the guns have always been here, but the people haven't acted like this. So apparently, we have a lawlessness problem. We have a problem not putting criminals in places where they can't do damage, because a lot of the problem, there's always some kind of criminal in some cases. Well, not all of the cases, but a lot of them. So it's not. You can't blame the inanimate object. Okay. Moving on. All right. Let's see. What's this? Now it's interesting too because. This weekend, the one in Texas got a lot of play, but here's one in CNN that not many people are talking about, because Gavin Newsom put up some bullshit, this in Texas, yada, yada, yada. Hello, this is your backyard, Captain. Gavin Newsom, dickhead. 5 people injured, 1 killed. Oh, because only 1 person was killed in a shooting in a large party in Chico, California. Large party. So the partygoers were shooting themselves. This is one of those. 6 people were shot, including a 17-year-old who's since died at a large party in Chico, California overnight, according to local police. Around 3:26 a.m. on Saturday, Chico police patrol officers were dispatched to an address of a large party in progress, according to a media briefing by the police department. Officers found 6 individuals between the ages of 17 and 21 had been shot. The victims, including a 17-year-old girl who died, a 20-year-old, well, these are all the victims. There's all between 17 and 21. Police said they will not be releasing any names at this time since the Chico Police Detective Bureau is still actively investigating the incident. According to police, the incident appeared to be isolated and there does not appear to be an ongoing threat to the community. This is how most of the mass shootings occur. Some party or some gathering where people are together. It's not the white supremacists with AR-15. I noticed they didn't mention an AR-15 in this. Of course, they're not releasing a lot of details, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. And that's the way the most of the mass shooting work. All right, let's move on. And then I got one more. Oh, I didn't know what time it was. Well, let me get to this other article that Gunfox sent me so that I don't forget. And then we'll finish with this. I had a couple other things, but why isn't it opening? Let's get it open here. There we go. Oh, this lying prick. So this is the smarmy prick from New York, Chuck Schumer, is threatening a Social Security shutdown if the U.S. defaults. Okay. Now, this is a tactic. This is a tactic that they like to use. Like, whenever there's government shutdown or whatever, they always like to use the tactic that, oh my gosh, there's the Social Security. They scare the old people who vote the most, right? Oh, we're going to blame Republicans for shutting down Social Security. Here's the problem. Even in the event of shutdown, most of the entitlement programs, they still run them. They'll go beyond the debt limit for those. Okay. What it does, it shuts down the rest, the government spending that's not automated. Like government paychecks, they don't. The only reason Obama did that with whenever he shut down the parks and shut down the pay of people last time they had a shutdown, he didn't have to do that. Those are all required, not the parks themselves, but you don't have to close off the parks. But paying government employees, they don't have to do that. They're required to pay them, even if in the event of shutdown. They're required to pay entitlements, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare in the event of a shutdown. Those all go. It's the discretionary spending that they have to stop immediately when this happens. So when they say debt ceiling, it doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna actually stop spending money. That's bullshit. That is straight up bullshit. Anyway, Schumer warns of Social Security shutdown if USA defaults. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, smarmy prick from New York, warned that debt default could mean Social Security checks stop for millions of Americans. On Sunday, Schumer called on House Republicans to pass a so-called clean debt ceiling bill. Fuck you. When have the Democrats ever passed a clean bill on anything? They love omnibus bills with lots and thousands of pages of bullshit. How about a clean bill? What the Republicans want. Hey, let's cut this spending here, cut this spending there. That's a clean bill to me. You fucking smarmy prick. Have I called him smarmy prick enough yet? Default is going to have so many problems for so many people, but we're here to highlight one, and it's 3 words: Social Security shutdown. Lying bastard. That's such a lie. It's embarrassing. Pass a clean debt ceiling to avoid risk of great harm to seniors. You assholes have done these what do they call something patch legislation or whatever. You've done it multiple times. Go to hell, Chuck. You're an asshole. You are a straight up asshole playing politics as usual because that's what you do. Unfortunately, that fucker's good at it. Okay? Oh my God, I hate that motherfucker. All right, let me finish up with these one little note. And then we're getting out of here. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch cannot win. They cannot win this battle. So now, and this is just Chicago, but don't be shocked if this shows up somewhere else. The gay, or I don't know if it's all the LGBTQ, but this particular gay phenomenon, Deos, how you doing? Has also decided to boycott Anheuser-Busch, but not for the same reason as everybody else. By the way, but Anheuser-Busch sales are down 26%. No, just Bud Light, 26%. Earnings are down. Everything's down at Anheuser-Busch. They're reeling. Okay, people who are working for Anheuser-Busch and whatever are reeling because they're getting crushed by these boycotts. Well, now apparently some gay bars in Chicago are also boycotting Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light's Dylan Mulvaney controversy deepens as Chicago gay bars roar at beer makers' abandonment of the cause. Oh no! Chicago organization Two Bears Tavern Group is no longer selling Anheuser-Busch products, including Bud Light and Busch Light. Anheuser-Busch products will no longer be served at some local gay bars in Chicago in light of the beer giants distancing from transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. So they're mad that you're not supporting him more. Two Bears Tavern Group, which owns 4 gay bars in the Windy City, called out Anheuser-Busch's InBev abandonment of its support of Dylan Mulvaney's on Thursday. The organization will no longer serve Anheuser-Busch beverages at their bars, which includes Bud Light, Goose Island 312, and Busch Light. Anheuser-Busch had partnered with Mulvaney in March, sending a personalized pack of beer as a part of an ad for March Madness and Mulvaney's first-year anniversary of his, whatever, gender transition. The marketing move led to Anheuser-Busch losing roughly $5 billion in market value and significant boycotts from conservative drinkers, which is probably most of your beer drinkers. Like I said I made a little video, beer drinkers are going to let you know when you've gone too far, and this is the case in point. Anheuser-Busch InBev CEO Michael Ducaris had downplayed his company's partnership with Mulvaney to investors on Thursday, pointing to misinformation spread on social media. Quote, "We need to clarify the facts. This was one can, one influencer, and one post, not a campaign," Ducaris explained. Yeah, he has some kind of accent, so I just made some shit up. Anheuser-Busch CEO Brandon Whitworth also put out a statement in April about the controversy, saying that his company never intended to be part of a discussion that divides people. Well, too late now. Yeah, you done did it now. So anyway, so these the gay bars in Chicago, at least these 4 gay bars, are no longer serving Anheuser-Busch products. Now, let me just analyze this just very quickly, then I got to get out of here. So let's see. You have a nationwide boycott of Bud Light by a large section of society. I would guess that a vast majority of those have never been to a gay bar. They're beer drinkers, right? I mean, is beer a popular drink among gay people? Well, I'm sure gay people drink beer, but I'm pretty sure that if you said, okay, hey, Budweiser, you have a choice. You're going to have all this beer in all these other bars around America, or you lose the gay bar scene, which might be 1 out of every 1,000 bars, which would have more of an impact. That's a good question. And on that note, let's see the poll today, 85% yes. There are probably just more reporting of these shootings. I'm kind of in that camp too. I got to go. Thanks everybody for being here at the Morning Night Live. I'm here Monday through Friday and all that stuff. Share the stream, and we want more people watching. Also, I'm putting out a lot of little short videos. Can y'all do me a favor and share those too? I mean, some of them are good, some are okay, some are interesting. I try to keep them interesting. I'm getting better at doing them, but that also gives the people a taste of what I'm about, and then they might join the. I'm up about 90 subscribers since I started doing them about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so I'm pretty happy about that. And I think we've had a few new people pop through in the chat too. So that's cool. Anyway, that's all you got to say. Share, hit the like button. And if you want to sponsor the show 24 hours a day, pdognight.live, I will drop that I'll read the chats during the show if you do them during the show, but you can do it anytime a day. And also follow me on Locals if you want to get notifications on certain things that we're doing. Programming note, I don't think we're going to be streaming on Memorial Day because Lady Boomer and I are going to drive to Michigan and go to, we're going to drive all the way to Mackinac Island. Well, we're going to be in Mackinac City, but we're going to be hanging out on Mackinac Islands. Mackinac City, Mackinac Island. We're meeting a friend who's driving there from Chicago on his motorcycle, and we're going to hang out there. Our vacation thing is going to be extended, so I won't be here Memorial Day. Just FYI, I'll remind you later. That's it. Gotta go. Thank you for being here. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.